Hello and welcome to another video from the only channel that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy. And today's video is going to be about how to get on YouTube inexpensively. And I don't mean watching YouTube videos. That's basically free if you've got access to the internet. What I'm talking about is actually producing and posting your own videos. Now, the reason this has come up is because I have recently upgraded all of my equipment and I've posted a few videos about it, and I posted some videos about the problems I was having before. And it may seem as if getting on YouTube is a really expensive thing to do, and that's not the case at all. Now, the problem I was having is that I do really long videos where I have to do a lot of editing. There's no way for me to sit in front of a camera for an hour and talk continuously without messing up. So I was having problems running stuff through my computer. So I just quit making videos. And the reason was that I knew that I had a lot of money in my bank account, and it was, once it got up to about $350, I was going to go out and buy me a computer that would edit video, because it doesn't take much. I mean, honestly, if you go buy a new computer, I think you can get them for like $650 now, and they have 64-bit architecture. These things here, I've got a lot of them. They're 32-bit architecture. They'll do anything in the world I want to do. I can watch video, I can check my email, but I can't edit video because that just is not powerful enough. And in fact, if all you want to do is watch video, the last computer I bought like this was $38, and it works. In fact, that's the one. That's $38 computer right there, and that was shipping and everything from eBay. So anyways, I was having problems because I needed something a little more powerful, and I had to spend my money on something else, and that was it. And so people were saying, well, we want to watch your videos. Please let us send you a donation. And so I put a PayPal button on there, and sure enough, within a day I had enough money to buy another computer. In fact, it was so much that it was way more than I needed for the computer I was thinking about. So I just went ahead, and instead of getting the absolute minimum that I needed to do what I had to do, I went ahead and got what I thought might be the last computer I ever buy. Something that'll do everything that I could ever imagine doing with YouTube video, and even into the future, because the specs were just incredible. So I've spent a whole lot more money on the computer I have than the $350, but I didn't really need to. If you have a decent modern computer and it's got 64-bit architecture, you can do all the editing you need. And for most people, editing isn't even an issue. Most people who want to post videos on YouTube are simply going to go out and set up their camera and videotape the family reunion or some kind of a business party or something like that, and you're not really going to have to be cutting and splicing things together. But if you do, and you've got a modern computer, that's not really going to be a problem. Now, with my camera, that's never been an issue. I've been getting cameras for years. Always buy used cameras, and this is like a flip video camera. In general, I was paying about $30 for these up until about 2 years ago. And now, since I don't need them, every now and then I'll go on eBay and look, and they'll have one for $10. And you can get these all day long for $10. I think a lot of people had a good experience with these flip cameras. And so they, knowing that they want to post something on video, they'll go back and buy a flip camera. There are problems with that. These are incredible cameras if you get the right one. But they stopped making them, I guess, 10 years ago, which means they stopped making the batteries about 10 years ago. I don't know if I have one here with the battery in it. These did have factory batteries that went in here, and it's just like a little battery pack. It's basically 2 AA batteries taped together with some kind of little button thing on it, so that when you put it in there, the camera knows you've got a flip battery instead of 2 AA batteries. But they don't make those, and the ones you can purchase that say brand new, yeah, they're brand new. They'll come in a wrapper, never opened, and they're 10 years old. So when you put them in your camera, if you charge it, it'll normally power up, and it'll give you about 1 minute of time before it goes dead. So just know that if you get one of these, you'll have to put regular AA batteries in it. And even the best AA batteries you can get are only going to last for about a half an hour. And you know how much AA batteries cost. Now, I use rechargeables. Here's a couple of them here. In fact, I've got a whole case that I keep my recharged batteries in. And these are the AAs. And then when you turn it around, it's got little compartments up here for AAAs. And, you know, while I'm shooting a video, or back when I used these cameras, I normally go through maybe 6 AA batteries. So I'd change them out 3 times. Because with this camera, like I say, you're only going to get about 30 minutes with the best. And with rechargeable batteries, about 20 minutes. And they do have some really, really high quality rechargeable batteries that'll get you a half hour or 45 minutes, depending on conditions. But just know that that's what you're going to have to deal with if you get one of these. And if you get one, there are a few other things that you need to know in advance. And I don't have one here, but some of these, let me make sure. Here we go. This is one. Some of these use AAAs. Just so you can see that. So you have a little square battery pack normally, but if you don't have that factory battery pack, 3 AAAs will fit in there. You only get about 15 minutes with this. But the audio quality and the video quality are incredible. Rivals this $500 camera I'm using to film with right now. But there are some problems. Now, this is great for vlogging. And in general, what vlogging is, you're holding the camera here and you're saying, look, there's the Grand Canyon, right? Or you're holding it facing you and you're going, hey, my name is Sustenance and Covering and I'm making a video today. Your voice is right here by the camera, either way. But what you can't do is set this camera up somewhere and then go 50 feet away and talk to it. So what you have to do is have a separate audio recorder. There's no plug on here for a microphone. This camera that I'm using right now has a plug. It's plugged into this, and that allows me to go wherever I want. See, right now, if I was talking to this camera, it would sound kind of hollow, and it would sound distant because I'm in a big room, and it's hollow, and the camera's far away, so it's distant. But by having this audio recorder right here, it takes care of a lot of that. And I can go out in the woods and set this thing up, and if my cord is long enough, then I get perfect audio recorded into the camera. Now, when I first got into this, you know, if I'd had that camera with the plug, a jack on the side of it, I would have just brought a microphone, because I was thinking I don't want to be splicing audio and video together. But since I was using these cameras that don't have an audio jack anywhere, I bought this, which is not a microphone, but a recorder. It just so happens that since it's got an output line and the camera's got an input line, I can use this as a microphone. And I highly recommend that if you've got a camera and it's got a jack on it and you want to get a microphone, that you get an audio recorder, because there will be situations where a microphone won't work. Like if you're trying to record yourself 100 feet away, you can't run 100 feet of cable, because in general, it won't send enough of a signal down the cable for the camera to pick it up. In fact, right now, this camera specs say that the longest cord I can use is 10 feet, and I think this is a 15-foot cord, but it's a high-quality cord, so it works. Now, another problem you're going to have if you're using this kind of audio is that if you fail to turn your microphone on, or you fail to turn your audio recorder on, then you'll have dead silence. And I'll show you what I mean. Well, we'll do is unplug this. What I just said is hello, hello, there's nothing there. So because if you forget to plug this in or you forget to turn it on, all the video you shoot is going to have no sound if you're plugged in up there. Now, when I unplug that cable from the mic camera, then it automatically switches over to the internal microphone, so that's not a problem. But, you know, I've got the camera set up far enough apart, away from me to get the type of video I want, that I really needed a separate recorder. Now, since I'm recording through this cable, I don't have to splice audio and video together, but sometimes you're going to have to do that. And one of the things you'll find, if you're using a $10 camera, the audio and video go out of sync more often. In other words, if I took this audio that's being recorded with this, and I took the video, recorded with that camcorder, what's going to happen is after about 15 minutes, my lips won't be moving right, and I have to cut it and take a second or two out of the video, or I have to take a second or two out of the audio. With one of these cheap cameras, you get about 5 minutes at the most before your audio and video is out of sync. And so it's a really big headache. It's always a big headache to have to do that. But in general, when I'm shooting video, it gets edited so much as I'll go in the woods or whatever and I'll talk to the thing for 5 or 10 minutes. With this particular camera, that's not an issue. I can splice that together and then I go out and do another 10 minutes. But if you're using one of these cheap cameras and you're doing 10 minutes, that means you're going to have to come in and cut that 10 minutes up into 5 or 6 pieces in order to make everything fit together. With these $10 cameras, now I've already talked about the flip cameras. Another kind of camera that I got here, and I've got a couple of them. These are Canons. These are $10, and I've got this thing set. This is an eBay page that right now, I guess I bid on one of these. It was starting bid $9.99, so I bid $9.99, and it's got like 4 hours and something left on it before I win it for $9.99, and that's free shipping. $9.99 for a camera. These things are really incredible, especially for me out here in the swamp, because you can actually shoot video in the rain with one of these. And it's a same thing. It uses 2 AA batteries. I'm looking in my viewfinder like it's a mirror. You know, when I go this way, it doesn't move like a mirror, so I have to figure out what I'm doing. But the cool thing about these, this is a little bit later technology, is that it shoots just as good a quality, and I don't know how this happens. It's something to do with encoding or whatever. This flip video will burn through batteries really quick. You can get about 2 hours out of a pair of batteries with this little phone, or this little camera. It's called a Canon ZX1, and it's weatherproof. It's not waterproof. You can't go underwater with it. But this is called a Canon ZI6. Now, either one of these cameras will do everything you need it to do. My favorite is the ZX1. It's basically, whenever I'm doing any kind of shots other than my main primary shots with this camera, this is what I use. This is the one, if I go to town and I want to make some videos, I bring this with me. I will not bring my expensive camera to town because I'm afraid of breaking it or afraid of getting it stolen. And with this thing, it's not a big deal. You know, if I got this sitting out on a tripod and I turn around to start talking to it and it's gone, even if the tripod's gone, you know, all the tripods I got from Goodwill. I paid about $10 to $20 a piece for those. All of these cameras are $10 cameras. I wouldn't like it, but I could recover. But anyways, this one here, and here's the difference between these two cameras. I'm looking at this, and it looks like a mirror, but it ain't a mirror. But they have that option, you know, when you buy one of these camera like this, it gives you an option of making it look like a mirror so you don't get lost when you're trying to do this stuff. But anyway, this one is weatherproof. You can go out in the rain and film. You can't go underwater and film, but you can film in the rain. This one you can't. But on this one, there's a little switch right here. I don't know how clear that is. Get here in the light a little bit more. I think it should be on a mountain. And here's a little flower. There's a picture on there of a mountain and a picture of a flower. If you've got it on the flower, that means it's for close-ups, and you can actually do video of your fingerprints if you want. This one does not have that option, but honestly, I've never used that for anything other than my own personal videos for just to do it. Let's see. Right now, it's on a mount. So right now, these are almost identical cameras. As long as this is set on mount, they're identical, except this one's weatherproof, and this one does have the close-up function. But when you're going through the menus are identical. They both use AA batteries. Now, obviously, they don't look the same. They're different sizes. But it seems to me that whatever parts are essential to make these cameras into cameras, they have to be exactly the same. Like, it's got the same sensor, the same lens, the same exact menu. They both use AA batteries. This one has 2 AAs that go in the front. And this one has a little door on the side. where you put AA batteries in the side. But it's the same camera. But I highly recommend these because unlike the flip cameras where you get 15 to maybe 45 minutes of video, with these you can actually get probably 2 hours before you have to change anything. And they have an SD card slot on these. The flip cameras pretty much have a built-in memory, which, you know, you're going to run out of memory and you have to download that onto your computer before you can shoot anymore. But you can go out with and I don't know exactly what cards they take, but the biggest card that you can put in this SD card will record way more video than you'll ever take on a family vacation. So these are the ones, and they got very good sound. These have very good audio, very good video quality. The only thing is there are no places to plug in a microphone. So you pretty much have to be holding the camera in your hand when you're talking, or no one's going to know what you're saying. You can hold it that way, or you can hold it towards you, but you pretty much have to have it pretty close by. Okay, if you've noticed that my face is a lot closer to the camera now, it's because I'm using a different camera. I'm actually using the Canon ZX1 camera to shoot this particular video. The video isn't just going to be uploaded to YouTube. I'm going to have to run it through some editing software to make it part of the video that I shot with this camera, which means that the editing software is going to alter the image a little bit, or alter the audio, all of that. And then actually uploading to YouTube is going to alter everything. So as an example, what you're listening to right now is the audio recorded by the camera. Now you're hearing my voice as recorded through this audio recorder. So that's the difference. That's why I like to have a microphone close up to me, and why I like to have the audio in this camera recorded through a microphone. In any case, I wanted to show you the camera I'm using currently. It's a Canon Vixia HFG20. It's a very nice camera. Actually, Canon makes 4 or 5 models of this, and the only real difference is the body, because the hardware inside is the same, how it reads the card is the same, the image is the same, the lens is the same. This one has a few features on it that make it stand out. One, it's got this lens surround on it to keep from having so much glare, and it's got a built-in shutter, or a door, to keep dust off of your lens. And it also has extra hard drives. I don't even know what you're looking at through there, but I'm hoping you're seeing this. There's a little door here, and it's got 2 SD cards and a built-in hard drive. So I'm actually recording this on 3 different media, which means that if one of them messes up, I still have something that I can use. But anyways, I'll talk more about this camera another day. One thing I will say is that living out here in the swamp, not having air conditioning, not having heat, a lot of stuff rust or gets wet, and it doesn't last very long, especially electronics. When I was a kid, my parents decided that I needed to take piano lessons, so they went down and bought a piano. And if you know anything about pianos, it's just some strings and some hammers, and nothing electronic in it. But the thing had a plug in the back, and I can remember the salesman saying that you don't have to use the plug, but the plug is for a built-in heater. There was a heat bar built into the piano to keep the strings from corroding. So if you had that little bit of warmth on there, the strings wouldn't corrode, and the sound would last longer. And I've learned, living out here with these guitars, I could put a brand new set of strings on my guitar and it'd sound super crystal clear, very, very much like a bell ringing. But after about 2 weeks, the strings sound dull. And that's why, because everything gets corrosion on it. Now, the solution I've got, now that I've got this expensive camera, is to simply store it right here on top of this computer, and keep the computer running all the time. I never turn it off, or I'll turn it off every now and then just to let it rest for a minute or two and then turn it back on, because sometimes that'll straighten out things that are not running quite right. But for the most part, I just leave the computer on all the time. The fans are going, it's producing some heat. The heat is coming out through the top of the tower, and where this camera sits, it never gets damp. So that hopefully this will be enough that, you know, my really expensive camera won't go bad from sitting out here in the swamp. Now, if you are shooting yourself with this camera, something else you're going to need is a mirror, because you can't take the display and flip it around to face you. Most modern video cameras, camcorders, have got that feature. So I highly recommend that if you get anything for shooting YouTube videos, that you get a camera that has a flip around LED screen. Now, I do have a warning for anybody that's doing any kind of research on the internet about what's the best camera for YouTube. Almost everything I've seen out there is to get a SLR. SLR is a single lens reflex camera. It's a still camera. Modern still cameras, almost all modern still cameras, have a built-in video function, and the video function on an SLR camera is fantastic, crystal clear. You'll never get better video than what you get with an SLR. Problem is, they are still a single photo camera that just has the video part as an add-on. And I recently went over and visited with some friends who've got an SLR. Incredible video quality, but the camera runs for about 12 minutes. When it starts to overheat, it turns off. And it's just the way that SLRs work. So you're never going to get very much footage out of an SLR before you have to start over. For people who are doing vlogging, a lot of vloggers are not going to have any problem with that, because they regularly point the thing at their face and say, hello, it's time for another vlog, and then they'll turn it off and download that video and turn the camera the other direction and say, here's my friend, he's here helping me with my vlog. But like what we were doing the day that my friends, I went to my friend's house, is we were just shooting an interview. And in an interview, you want to be able to just speak freely and then go back and take all of your footage, which I think we ended up with about 2 hours of footage maybe. And you go through and edit out the parts where you're just not talking or something comes up or whatever. But as we were sitting there, every so often we'd look up and the camera was off, and we wouldn't know when it turned off. So if you're gonna do really nice video and you're willing to spend a lot of money, spend a lot of money on a camcorder. Do not spend money on an SLR. SLRs are perfectly suited for still photography, and they're actually perfectly suited for high definition video if you're only going to be shooting 5-minute videos. If you do like I do, where you're sitting in front of a camera for an hour at a time, they're just useless. But at the same time, if you're doing any research on the internet about camcorders, as you're going through there, you're going to be comparing what you see to everything else you see. So you'll go to Canons and look at all the Canon camcorders, and you'll go over here and look at all the Pentax camcorders and all the Nikon camcorders. And what I found was that there on YouTube, every Canon camcorder shot perfect, crystal clear video. Incredible crystal clear video. The others were a little bit off, just a little bit hazy. Well, lo and behold, I go to upload my videos straight out of my Canon camcorder, and they're not crystal clear. They look just like all the videos that were shot with the other cameras. So somehow, whoever is doing the demos for Canon is either not using a Canon camera, or they've got some kind of editing software or uploading software that allows their video to go up exactly the way it appears in the camera. And I can promise you that this camera that I'm using right here makes video that looks like a window. It looks absolutely perfect, crystal clear. I can see a profound difference between what comes out of my camera and what ends up on YouTube. I have no idea how to fix that. I don't know what causes the big difference. I know that they have to process the video and somehow post it, but all of the specs on my camera look like the specs that YouTube asks for. Why the video doesn't come out on YouTube the way it comes out of my camera, I don't know. So I'd have to say this: if you're gonna pick a brand or a kind of camera, a camcorder, that you not put too much faith in what you're seeing when you're watching YouTube videos. But I do know that, like I said, you don't need anything more than this $10 camera to upload YouTube videos. If you do what I do, which is nothing but videos, then you might want something better. But if you're just going to shoot a video every now and then just to do it, and the only people that's going to see it is your family and friends, this camera will do every bit as good a job as my equipment until you have to do something like what I'm doing, which most people never will. Now, if you do get one of these inexpensive cameras, I'll show you. This case is perfect for it, and I'll show you why. And this is my wife's. When I was starting to get into YouTube, I was trying to convince my wife to get into YouTube, and she said she might do it, and I think we are going to do it now. But every time I would buy a camera, I would buy one for her and one for me. It's only $10. It's not a big deal. But these tackle boxes from Walmart, what's the name of this thing? Plano tackle box. If you go over about the where they keep their fishing tackle at Walmart, you can get one of these tackle boxes. I think it's like $12, and they're perfect. The little slots are perfect for these Canon or the Kodak and flip videos. Now, what wouldn't fit in there, that Kodak that does the close-ups, it's a little bit too big, so I keep mine at the bottom. So does my wife, I think, or she may have hers in a different, not even in her box. But here's the mirror. I was saying you would have to have a mirror to attach to your camera so it mounts right onto a tripod. You put that behind your camera and you can see in your camera's viewfinder as you're shooting video. And this is actually cost more than the camera. I think it's $15. You get this, and it comes with one of these selfie sticks. And a lot of bloggers use that. They put this on here with their camera and then walk down the street looking into their camera as they're walking. I've shot video like that, and people ask me, how do you do that? So, something I wanted to show you about these cameras. This one in particular, when I pointed it this way, you notice it had a little sticker here that no one's ever taken off. It says Kodak HD YouTube, and it's got a little umbrella over here, so that's showing you that you can work this camera in the rain. It's amazing that you can get this camera for $10, and here you go. Let's see if you see that. It's still got the little sticker on the LED screen. Been there forever. I'm taking it off. There's no reason to keep an LED screen sticker on there, and there's no real reason to have this Kodak sticker on there. This camera is like brand new. It's like the person who purchased this camera never used it. Look at there. Like a brand new camera. So much so that it came in the box, and I've already taken out the cables and stuff, but this box, when I got it, still had the original sticker on it, and inside it was a whole bunch of cables for doing all kinds of things, a little disc for some kind of software that they had. And if you go on eBay, there are people that are selling these cameras, these $10 cameras, for $250. And their whole thing is, it's still in the box, it's still got all the cables, it's got the instruction book, it's got the disc, and I promise you, you will never find any use for that. In fact, most of the cables are designed to hook into like 1980s TV sets, so you're never going to find a use for that stuff. And if you get one of these and it's just all beat up and it has no stickers on it, no cables, no DVD, nothing, it's still going to take the exact same video as one that's in a sealed box. Do not pay $250 to get an unopened version of this camera. The only thing that's going to be in there of any use to you is the camera. Everything else that comes with it is junk, including the stickers on the camera, including the box. Well, that's it for this video. If you want to make your own YouTube videos, it's really, really easy, simple to get started, and it shouldn't cost you much money. In fact, you probably have everything you already need with the exception of the camera And currently I am about to purchase one for $9.99 with the shipping included. So, and unless of course I get this video posted before I win that camera, then maybe you'll get one. You won't get it for $9.99, but you'd probably get it for $10.99. Anyways, if you don't want to survive, don't listen to me.